Hi. Hi, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a wonderful day. This is my demonstration of learning assignment for Religion 35. And for my project, I have chosen to discuss ethics, morality, and the overall nature of the good. So pretty. In this video, I will be discussing the ethical philosophies of Aristotle, Immanuel Kant, and Emmanuel Levinas, as well as the Catholic's perspective on ethics and morality through biblical scriptures and the Catechism of the Catholic Church. So a good place to start would be asking what even is ethics. And by definition, ethics is a discipline involving the nature of the good, the nature of the human person's intentional actions, and criteria that we use to make right judgment. So it's more of a study that dives into what humans generally consider to be good things, such as happiness, which is the biggest one probably, peace, love, stuff like that. Basically, it is about understanding what it means to be a good person. Whereas morality is, by definition, a system of right conduct based on fundamental beliefs and obligations to follow certain codes, norms, customs, and habits of behavior. So ethics tends to focus on those beliefs and obligations, and morality is interested in how one can demonstrate and attain the good things. It is often a set of rules that we can follow in order to be good. So both of them are important because it does not matter how much you know about being a good person if you don't apply it to your actions, because morality is a choice, and we'll talk about it later. At the same time, it's difficult to be a good person without fully understanding what it means to be a good person. Okay, so what does it mean to be moral and ethical, and why is it something we should strive towards? Well, from the Catholic perspective, we should choose to do good because we can. In the Catechism of the Catholic Church, or the CCC, the Life of Christ, Section 1, Chapter 1, Article 4, Section 1749 states that freedom makes man a moral subject. When he acts deliberately, man is, so to speak, the father of his acts. Human acts, that is, acts chosen in consequence of judgment of conscience, can be morally evaluated. So, okay, freedom makes man a moral subject. This means that we have been given the freedom to choose right from wrong, and as we know, freedom always comes with some sort of responsibility. So you have the freedom to get your driver's license and drive your car. That's good, that's like really convenient. But you also have the freedom to drink alcohol, which is great, apparently, I've heard. I don't know, don't ask me. Now it's your responsibility to not drink and drive at the same time. Basically, you are a moral agent, meaning you have the ability to differentiate right from wrong. You are actually capable of choosing the right thing. It is your responsibility to actually do the right thing, and you are to be held accountable for your actions. Section 1755 states that a morally good act requires the goodness of the object, of the end, and of the circumstances together. An evil end corrupts the action even if the object is good in itself, such as praying and fasting in order to be seen by men. The object of the choice can in itself vitiate an act in its entirety. There are some concrete acts such as fornication, which is having sex before marriage, that is always wrong to choose because choosing them entails a disorder of the will that is moral evil. Okay, well, to put it simply, for an action to be righteous, it must be done with good intentions, and it must have positive results and under the appropriate circumstances. So if you've ever seen The Good Place, it's a really good, like, super funny show that does deal with a lot of these ethical philosophies. And in the show, Tahani did a lot of charity work while she was alive, but after her death, she ended up in the bad place, which is essentially hell. This is because she was just doing it for attention. So the outcome was great. She was doing a lot of good in the world, but for all the wrong reasons, therefore it didn't count. Throughout history, many philosophers have tried to understand the good and have pitched in ideas concerning it, a lot of which we have incorporated into our lives today. But a major contributor to Catholicism would be Immanuel Kant and his philosophy called deontological ethics. Deontology is a duty-driven ethics based on unarguable principles or maxims, as Kant called them. This means that there are universal truths that we must live by, something non-subjective like the dignity of human life. He believed that the objective is the only defining factor. So stealing is wrong, but in a Robin Hood situation where he's doing it with genuinely positive intentions, like to give to the poor, then it makes it better, I guess. So this would justify a lot of things like euthanasia. This means that the only acceptable reason for any action must be wanting to do the good for the sake of doing the good. One thing our society can take away from Kant's philosophy is that one should only act in such a way where if everyone in the world acted like that, then the world would be a good place. So before you attend a social gathering, think about what will happen if everyone in the world attended a social gathering. Not good. So don't do it. Moving on to Aristotle and his teleological ethics, where he introduced the idea that every person has a purpose, no one was put here by accident, and one must actively seek to live out their purpose for it to be a life well lived. Okay, so a camera's purpose is to take pictures, right? And if a camera can't take pictures, then it sucks, and it's a bad camera. So that's the same thing with people. If you don't serve your purpose, then you're a bad person. The main idea from Aristotle that really stood out to me and explains his views concerning the nature of righteousness is that anyone has the capacity to be good by practicing good habits or virtues and eventually shape our mindset. On the contrary, we can also do wrong and develop bad habits known as vices. Okay, so you're a jerk and nobody wants to be around you, so you start to realize that maybe you have to change something about your character. Well, Aristotle believed that there's hope for you to improve. So morality is a skill, and for some it may come easy, but for others it may pose as a challenge. But if you commit to character development by practicing your virtues, even if you don't see the value in it at the moment, eventually you will. It's a very fake it till you make it situation. I think we've all met people in our lives who are inherently kind, and sometimes it gets annoying, like, how are you that nice? But I think it's also really inspiring to see people do a 180. There's something fascinating about watching people grow. To sum it all up, Aristotle would tell you to live your life with purpose, and he would discourage the marginalization of people the way our society does with the homeless and the people who need our help the most. Since he strongly believed in finding happiness within a community, by excluding someone, you're actually not giving them a chance to flourish as their best self, and you're also missing out on what you can learn from them. Lastly, and definitely my favorite, is Emmanuel Levinas's philosophy called the Ethics of the Face. And this philosophy is all about searching for the good in the face of other people. I believe that we are very divided today with our different ideologies. I mean, there's the Republicans and the easily offended SJWs and the Trumpies. But no matter your political views, your religion, or your financial status, our humanity connects us all, and there's good in all people. He also believed that seeing that connection can bring out the best out of you as a person. And this makes sense because you're probably not going to steal from someone if you're able to see that, oh, there's good in them and there's good in me, and they probably struggle and worked hard for whatever it is I'm taking from them. Then you probably won't go through with it. I mean, I wouldn't. Levinas would tell our society to stop treating each other like strangers and enemies because God lives in all of us. Through my interpretation, looking into the face of the other is more of a metaphor, but what he really means is that when you really look into a person's soul, you'll discover that they're not that different from you. Now, what do I think about all this? Well, I chose to do this topic for a couple of reasons. One, because I genuinely got something out of it, and it helped me map out my values, as well as introduced a lot of new perspectives. It just taught me a lot about myself and others. Second reason, I believe that everyone can learn from it, and you don't have to be a Catholic or a religious person to be a good person. And no matter your level of spirituality, all people have the capacity to do good in the world. All actions fall into an ethical or moral dimension because it will either serve as a benefit or a detriment to ourselves and society. The beauty of ethics is that there is no concrete definition to the nature of the good, but it varies depending on cultural, socioeconomic, and many other factors. I value my personal identity, but as a human being, I'm also part of a collective group. And I believe that whenever we forgive or act with compassion, that is us at our purest form, free of all moral evil. And I believe that it is the very essence of our humanity as we were created in the image and likeness of God. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you got something out of it. Feel free to leave your comments and opinions on the stuff I discussed today. And consider leaving a like as well as subscribing, unless you're my teacher who's marking this, and please don't. That is everything. I'll see you in my next video.